I want to tell you about my life as a sidewalk counselor and my life before as a sidewalk, that it took me 3 years to get to be a sidewalk counselor. 8 years ago, the Lord tapped me on the shoulder saying, "You need to be a sidewalk counselor." Well, after 3 years of that, I did go to Deborah Braun's class on becoming a sidewalk counselor and had training in front of the old Planned Parenthood on Ford Parkway in St. Paul. I was very sad to realize that abortions were being done in that building. Brian Gibson gave me very comforting words that day. He said, "You are the only ones, we are the only ones here loving these babies and accompanying them to heaven." That really helped me in my 5 years as a sidewalk counselor. This past August 20th, the Lord showed me that I was fulfilling his wish that I be in front of the new mega Planned Parenthood in St. Paul. Shortly after 9 a.m. that morning, a Spanish family stopped in the driveway. The dad was driving, the mom was in the front seat. Their daughter was in the middle seat of their van. They took all the literature I offered. These are the things we offer at first. We can help you, and also all the areas in the Twin Cities that offer help to pregnant women. Well, they listened as I told them they did not want to go into Planned Parenthood, and they did not want to have an abortion for their daughter. I pointed to a beautiful statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe on their dashboard and said, "She does not want you to have an abortion." Then I showed them a map to 2 life care centers nearby. I urged them to turn around and go to the Highland Life Care Center. They did turn around. They stopped again. The father said yes when I asked him if they were going to the Highland Life Care Center. That same morning, before 10 a.m., a young woman walked up the sidewalk towards the driveway. I'll call this young woman Agnes. She took a flyer from the first sidewalk counselor she met. That counselor encouraged the young woman to talk to us about help she can get for herself and her baby. She tried the locked front door of Planned Parenthood. Then she walked right up to me. She was crying and said to me, "I don't know what to do." I hugged her and said, "I know what you can do." Agnes had taken the bus to Planned Parenthood. She accepted my offer to drive her to the Highland Life Care Center on Ford Parkway in St. Paul. Since that day, I have had the joy of being with Agnes to view 2 ultrasounds of her baby. She is now 18 weeks along and is thrilled to see the views of her healthy baby boy. Please pray for these 2 mothers. Their lives are not easy. Jesus, we trust in you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stacey Angusether, and I'm a sidewalk counselor, and I go out on Wednesdays to the Planned Parenthood, and I'd just like to share a wonderful experience that I had with a young mother changing her mind. I was there one Wednesday, which actually was February 13th, Ash Wednesday, and the first day of 40 Days for Life. And I saw this young couple come in, and I tried to offer them some information, but they just drove past me. And a little while later, that same car came out, and the young man stopped and rolled down his window and asked me what this place was. And I told him this was an abortion clinic, and I asked him if he had dropped somebody off, and he said, yes, my girlfriend. And I gave him the information, and I told him that he needed to get her out of there, and he took it and left. And you know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but then I continued counseling, and just before I was getting ready to leave, I happened to turn around and look, and I saw a young woman coming towards me, and I didn't make the connection then, but she came up to me, and I right away told her, as I try to tell all of them, that I'm not there to hassle them, that I'm there to help them. And she said, I know you talked to my boyfriend, and she said, I saw my ultrasound, and she said, I saw my baby's heart beating, and I knew that I couldn't do this. And sorry, it'll make me emotional. And she said, you know, they didn't want me to see my ultrasound, but I insisted, and she said, would you like to see it? So we looked at it together, and both started crying. As we drove home, we talked about what was going on, and she said that her boyfriend had called her, and actually while we were driving, he called, and she said, no, I've left, and the protester lady is bringing me home. So after she got off the phone, I did explain that I wasn't a protester, and she said, oh, well, they tell us that when we call to make the appointment, that there's protesters outside and don't talk to them. And again, she also explained that they did not want her to look at that ultrasound so for everybody that does sidewalk counseling, you know, remember, tell those clients that look at your ultrasound, that you will see your baby's heart beating, and I certainly make sure that I tell that to everybody. I told her that I was so proud of her, and when I dropped her off at home, we exchanged phone numbers, and we've continued to stay in contact. Pro-Life Action Ministries also helped her buy some larger items for her baby, and she did tell me that she's having a little boy, and she was due last week, so I'm waiting to hear from her, and I hope that I get to go see this little boy.
Little did I know that my coming upon Melissa, or perhaps I should say Melissa's coming to me, would be so profound in my faith journey. When you sidewalk counsel or pray at the abortion clinics, you never know what the day will bring. July 5th, I had overslept and was actually a half hour late on arriving for my sidewalk counseling shift at Planned Parenthood. I was 40 minutes over my usual shift, but I felt inclined to stay just a little longer in prayer, and I suggested to a prayer intercessor on the sidewalk that together we ask God's mercy for everyone in the clinic that day. Absorbed in prayer, I suddenly opened my eyes as a truck was coming back into the driveway. I went to the truck and asked the woman if she was coming for an abortion. She blurted out, I came out of there before they could do an ultrasound. I just couldn't believe the women sitting there on their cell phones so casually in the waiting area. And then the tears rolled down her face. I saw your sign. I don't want to abort. My sign read, free help, and it was followed by Pro-Life Action Ministries' phone number, and then it said, you don't have to abort. You are going to need support, I said. Back out of the drive and move to another area and we'll talk. She then shared with me how she had come with the father of the baby who had left the clinic. She delighted in seeing the fetal development photos that I showed her. Where do you live? I can get you help at a life care center near you. Let's call them. Using my cell phone, she made the call herself as I showed her the number. I agreed to meet her there. To me, she seemed sincere, truly relieved, and totally overwhelmed with emotion. At the Life Care Center, she wanted me to sit in with her as she conversed with the director. I remember thinking how gentle, loving, intelligent, and compassionate this gal was. And to hear what had transpired in her life made me again realize how we never know the baggage one is carrying under their facade. While the particulars are confidential, like so many others, she had nearly no support to carry this child, and every reason except life and love to buckle under the pressures to abort. She justifiably was feeling betrayed by many of the people she loved, and she felt burdened by losing her source of income, her ability to pay the rent, the energy bill, to care for her teenage son and toddler daughter, let alone to make payment on this new vehicle. After determining how Melissa would work together with them in formulating her part of the financial picture, Pro-Life Action Ministries coordinated with the Life Care Center to make a partial payment so the rent for that month could be paid. Melissa is now midway through her pregnancy. In my recent conversation with her, she expressed that she is on the verge of losing her truck, but that it's either her truck or baby. And twice she said to me, God doesn't make mistakes. She has moved to another apartment. She knows where to look for positive support, and she has made some life-changing positive decisions. I am happy and couldn't ask for more. I love my baby so much, she told me. Incidentally, today is the birthday of the family member that is possibly Melissa's only family support. Melissa came so close to aborting 2 days before her very own birthday. There's no doubt in my mind that God brought the two of us together and blessed both of us. And for any of you who are hesitant, sometimes you might only have to hold a sign to receive life in abundance.